Well, hello everybody. It is Wednesday again, and I'm back for one of my tutorials. And as you can see, I got my hair cut. I went in last week after, on the Wednesday tutorial. So I went in on Thursday morning and said to my hairdresser, to either shave it or do something with it. So it's actually supposed to be blown all forward and be kind of this, modern little cut, but I tried it and it's making me crazy. So best thing to do is fluff it up on top and shove it behind my ears. And I like my hair short anyway. It's so much easier to do. And I just, sometimes can't be bothered with all that. So anyway, I hope everybody's having a great week. We're having a super, super busy week so far in the store. We're still doing our markdown madness, so it's been insane in here. I just can't believe all the customers that have been coming in. So it's been lots of fun. But one of the things that I do when customers are here is I actually do listen to what they say. I overhear all kinds of things. Sometimes they're not nice, but most of the time they're pretty good. But one of the things I hear is like, oh, I really wish that we could learn how to do this, or I really wish that, I knew how to do that. So those are some of the things that I keep in mind when I'm putting together these videos. I don't just sort of haphazardly grab something and try and figure out what to do with it. I do actually listen to what people are talking about, and I do like to keep on trend a little bit. I'm not, a super fashionista by any stretch of the imagination, but I do like to keep on trend when it comes to jewelry, and we're all becoming the Pinterest queens. So I like to look on Pinterest, and I like to shop for stuff like that. I don't actually buy anything. I just like to look. So while I was looking for my jewelry for my daughter's wedding, I actually went to this place that we have locally here I think it's called Charming Charlie's. And what I noticed is big bib necklaces and statement necklaces. So I thought, I've never made one. And so I'm going to try and make one today. We'll see how it goes. It may be a complete flop because honestly, I've never tried one of these things before. Best to do it on live TV, right? So that, I guess it's not TV, live computer, live phone, whatever this is. But I've never tried one. So I'm just kind of making this up as I go along. I kind of have a concept in my head and I'm hoping that it all works. And if it doesn't, then, we'll use this as a learning tool. So one of the things that I am going to show today is something that somebody was talking about on the front counter the other day. She said, gosh, I really wish that we could learn how to do, or she said that she could learn how to do the perfect like top drilled loop, because they're really hard. So there's the beads where it either goes this way or it goes across the top. Like most beads go up and down, but this goes, that way. And this bead, it's actually kind of cool. It goes both ways. There's a little tiny drill hole going this way, which is the one I'm going to use. But there's also one that goes across the top of that V there. And they're a little finicky and a little tricky to try and wrap. But once you understand the concept of it, it's actually really, really simple. So that's the bead I'm going to use today. I'm going to use 16 of those. So I did, I think, 10 of them because I don't want you to have to sit here and watch me do 16 top drilled wraps. But I'm going to show you how to do those. And the other thing that I had a customer in yesterday, and she said that, she was asking me to recommend a pair of pliers or a pair of cutters. Because she said, she goes through them like crazy. And that's one of the things that we find that people complain about a lot. So we do sell one that we like. It's just one that's used in the electricians use them. So it's a good sort of mid-range one. It doesn't cost a lot of money, and it'll last you, a year or two if you take good care of it and you don't cut memory wire and things like that. But it got me to thinking a little bit about my tools. Back in the day when I first started, of course, I bought, all my tools from, the big box stores, and I didn't pay very much because I didn't really have a bead store around, so I didn't know where to go. So I just went to a big box store and I bought the cheapest ones that I could find. And my wrapped loops never looked very good, and, nothing ever turned out. So then, of course, I learned that really you get a better product when you have a better tool. So once I started making a little bit more jewelry, I actually invested in my tools, and I still am using the same tools 13 years later. And I think it's because of the quality. So this tool I can no longer get. I really wish that I could. I would have bought them out of business probably, but this is a really great German-made chain nose plier. And what I like is it goes to a super fine point. I don't know if it translates well on the screen there. But that goes to a super fine point, and I love it. And it gets into the nooks and crannies. So, you know, it's starting to look a little weathered, but for 13 years, it's pretty good. This one doesn't have a spring in it because I don't like to have a spring. I actually use it like a hairdresser does with their tools. So that is a good German quality tool. And I'm actually going to use them in the video today because they make a nicer loop. And again, these are almost all German tools. This is a long neck, a round nose plier, and what I like about this is you can get little tiny loops and they can go all the way down to the really large loops. So and I like this one because I think they're 5.5 inches long, and I've got a little bit bigger hand, so ergonomically it's better for my hand and I don't get hand fatigue. Now remember, I used to make thousands of pieces of jewelry a week, and so I needed to make sure that my hands didn't get fatigued. So even my employees all had these same good quality tools. And then I have the bent chain nose pliers in the same thing. And we sell these in the store. They're a little bit more money, not a lot, really. They're like in the high 30s maybe. But again, 13 years later, and they're still working. All the grips haven't slipped off. The little springs are still exactly where they were 13 years ago. Makes a big difference. Now, the one thing we haven't carried in the store for a long time, but it got me to thinking about carrying them again, are these fabulous soft flex cutters. They're a micro, what do they call them? Micro tip or something like that. I don't know if you can see that tip there. But again, 13 years later, and these are as sharp as the day that I got them. I particularly like them for what I'm using today, which is soft flex. You can get right in the very, very corners. It says not to use them on heavy gauge wire, but I've used them up to 14 gauge because I used to use 14 gauge in my business a lot. The grip has started to slip a little tiny bit on this one, but just one push and it gets back up there. Now, these are very spendy. With our exchange now, I can't even imagine what they're going to be. They'll probably be up in the 70s or 80s, but again, 13 years later, and they are as sharp as you can get. So spend $16.99 a year or spend $70 and have them practically a lifetime as long as you don't cut memory wire. So with tools, you get what you pay for, and you will have a better product if you use better tools. So there's my little bit of a tool talk. Okay, so I'm going to just turn the camera down here and we'll get right to business. And again, I moved locations today because the other one was really glary when I looked back at it. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully you can see that. Okay, push my stool over. Okay, so today we're going to be using medium soft flex. I like soft flex. It's a really great product. I don't like the cheap stuff. This is 49 strands of goodness. It's got what's the weight on it? 26 pounds. So you have to put some pretty good torque on there to make that break. So I generally use medium. I find it's the best for everything unless you're going through pearls, and then I will probably go down to a fine. And I very seldom use heavy unless I'm going up to heavy turquoise or heavy coral, that kind of stuff. So we're going to be using that. And we're using some 24 gauge, just, craft wire. And then an assortment of other things. So the first thing I'm going to do is have a drink of water because my throat is getting sore again. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to make a little wrapped brio like that. So you can see the top there, how I've wrapped that loop. So I'm hoping this translates well on camera. It really is just a practice thing. So I'm going to cut myself about, 4 inches of wire. And on these beads, like I said, they have a drill hole that goes this way and that goes this way. But for my purposes today, I'm going to use the drill hole that goes through the front. So what I like to do is I like to pull about 1/3 on one side and about 2/3 on the other. And I pull it straight. So I take the long one and I pull it straight up and over. And then I take the short one and I pull it straight up and over. And I take the short one last because I want that on top. So you can see there how... Can you see that? I've got like a little V there. So then what I do is I come in with my pliers, and on top of the long one, I take that I go right down to where that V is. So I don't know if that, I'm trying to see so you can see that. Go this way? I don't know. Hopefully you can see that. And I'm going to just take it and bend it straight up like that. So now we have sort of a little angle like that. Okay. Oh, let's see who's here. Leanne. She's sitting on the beach in the Okanagan watching me. Oh, I'm so jealous. Well, have a good time, and thanks for joining us. That's awesome. Whereabouts in the Okanagan are you? That would be a great place to go. Okay, so now I've got my long strand here and I've got my little strand here. So I'm going to take my chain nose pliers and I'm going to go across where I've bent it. So I'm not covering up that little V there. I want to make sure that I'm keeping that V covered. Now I'm going to use my pliers so that you can see what I'm doing. But I'm going to grab the tail end of this and I'm going to pull it down and go around once and twice. Now normally I would go 3 times, but for this I don't want a really long neck. So, oh, Okanagan Falls. Oh gosh, sounds nice. Well, is it beautiful up there right now? Because I imagine it is. Anyway, so I'm just going to go twice because I don't want a really long neck. So now we've got a little wrap there, and I'm going to cut off the little short one. And I'm going to use the flush side of these cutters. And the nice thing about these little razor cutters is they just get in there really nice, and they hardly leave any burr at all. So I'm just going to come in and just gently squish that down. I don't want to squish too hard because it's 24 gauge wire. So now I've got this little part wrapped like that. Now I'm going to turn it around, and because it's 24 gauge, if I put my pliers on top of there, it's going to bend it. So I'm just going to take it and push away on top of that. So you can see how I've just pushed away on the little wrap loop there. Now I'm going to take my chain nose pliers and I'm going to go about 1/4 of the way up. I don't want super huge loops. And I'm just going to do a regular wrap loop. So up and over and towards me, and rotate the pliers and take that wire and push it straight to the back. And I'm going to make sure it's nice and straight. And now I'm going to come in with my pliers and go on that loop. And now I'm going to wrap. And this one I purposely want a little bit messy. You know how I always say I want nice neat loops. Well, on this one I actually want a bit of a messy loop. So what I'm doing is I'm going right over top of those first 2 wraps that I did. I'm going over top of those so you won't see them at all. And then so I did that about 4 or 5 times. I just want to kind of hide that, trim that off, and then I'm going to have a little burr. Now I have to be careful because this is 24 gauge wire, and I want to just push that down and make sure everything's kind of nice and straight. And there we go. We have our little brio wrapped loop. So it's really simple. It's not a whole lot different than doing a regular wrap loop. You just have to angle one of your wires sort of off to the side there when you start. So I have to do, I think I have to do another 5 more of those. So hopefully you'll be able to get this by the end of it. So I'll show you again. So I'm going to put my wire in, and I'm going to take my long one and bend it straight up and over, and my short one straight up and over, making sure it's on top. Go into where that little V is and give it a little bend up. Now I'm going to take my pliers and go across that little V down there and grab my bent chain nose, love these pliers, and go around once, twice. There we go. And trim that off. And honestly, you don't even probably need to push the burr down because we're going to be covering it. So now I'm going to take this and bend away and then come in with my round nose pliers. I'm going to get rid of this ruler. It's making too much noise. Okay. And then up and over and down, and rotate my plier, pull my wire to the back, straighten that all out. Come in with my round nose pliers, and then just do sort of a messy, wrappy kind of thing over top of all of that to kind of cover it all up and give it a little smush after you cut off that wire. So not hard to do. It's like everything. All you have to do is practice a little bit. I remember the first time I did one, I thought, oh, sweet Jesus, how am I going to do this? And it is a little different. Like if you're doing one this way, it's a little different, but it's essentially the same thing. I like to just use my pliers as a marker. So I found the best way for me was to get that deep V and then bend it up, because that way I know that that's the wire that I'm going to be wrapping around. So getting that deep V seems to make the nicest loops. When you try to just, cheat and not do that deep V, you won't end up with a nice wrap loop. So it just I don't know why, it just doesn't look as nice. So try that way. And I'm going to bend away. I pre-made some of these last night because I thought, okay, well, you guys will all fall asleep if I have to make, how many am I making? 16 in total, because I'm going to offset this. I want to have 9 on the bottom row, and then I'm going to do 7 on the top row. So I figured I better do some of them at home. I always have homework. My poor husband, he's always, having to endure me clinking and clanking while he's watching shows, and we have beads all over our family room, and but I don't have time when I'm at work to make jewelry generally. I usually have to make it when I'm at home. So an update. Remember last week, and I said that I wasn't feeling very well and I thought I had the flu. And hey, Barb's here. Thanks for joining us again today. So last week in the thing I said I had the flu, and then I don't know if you could actually tell, but partway through the video I was kind of going like this. I was having a real hard time focusing. I couldn't see a dang thing. And I think I actually made mention of, wow, I must be really tired or not feeling well because I can't focus. Well, honestly, by the end of the video, I had completely lost my vision in my left eye. Couldn't see a darn thing. I went out front, couldn't see the customers. I stupidly drove home, which probably wasn't the best thing. And then when I got home, I was starting to see big, crazy dots out of my left eye. So anyway, off to the doctor and off to the eye doctor, and they're not sure what it is. They think I might have had an ocular migraine because I didn't have a headache or anything. But boy, I did not feel good at all. And for about 4 days, my left eye was really bothering me. And we even thought at first we might have had a stroke because I have a droopy left eyelid now. That my eye doctor noticed right away. But anyway, so I just got an appointment to see an eye specialist for Monday. So my vision changed a little bit, but nothing major. So I had to get a new prescription. I needed new glasses anyway, but kind of a crappy way to have your vision change. So I feel okay, but man, it was a little bit freaky to all of a sudden have your vision kind of go wonky. The last time I had that happen, here we go, up and over again, make my little V. The last time I had that happen was when I was in the cell block, and I had a prisoner punch me in the head, and I completely lost my vision in my left eye because the vitreal fluid had moved, and my retina bounced a little bit. So the eye doctor then told me my days as a boxer were over. Not that I ever was a boxer, but definitely could not box after that. So, and if it was my left eye again, so I'm a little leery of the left eye thing. So anyway, there's always something going on, right? And I guess it could have been a whole lot worse. I wouldn't have been too thrilled to know if I'd actually had a stroke, but they are concerned about one thing, so they're checking me out, and I had to go for some tests. So hopefully it's nothing bad, and hopefully it's all going to be good, and I'll keep you updated. So let's see who else is on here. Olivia. What is she saying? I hope. Yes, thank you very much, Olivia. I appreciate that. I hope everything will be fine too. I don't know. It's just, the vision thing is scary. Both my grandparents, my mom's parents, were basically blind. My grandmother had macular degeneration, and my grandfather had glaucoma, and I already have macular degeneration. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I got to do one more. So I have the start of it, which is where you basically start losing your, outside sight. It starts kind of coming in on you, and I've already got the beginning stages of that. But the good thing is that they caught it early, and I'm on just some supplements and stuff like that. Okay, so last one. If you're just coming joining us, I did my 1/3 one way and 1/3 the other. Bend that straight up. And come across here. I just remembered that I was supposed to talk to one of the girls that used to come online here all the time, Cam. I was supposed to give her a call or send her an email about some stuff, and it completely went out of my brain. So, Cam, if you're watching, I'm sorry. I will get back to you. I think I'd rather call you. I think it might be easier. Okay, so we got our last little wrap here. My hands are getting sticky, so they're sticking to these little mother of pearls. I just thought these were so pretty when I bought them. They're really sort of nice blushy pink, and they're all different. And that's what I liked about this is it wasn't all one tone. So it'll have a little bit of, interest to it. Won't be all one sort of toned. My daughter's girlfriend has a beautiful bib necklace that's quite similar to this, and she wears it quite often. So they're kind of fun. So I'm just going to sort of arrange these in the order that I want. Okay, so there I have my 7. Let's see, pull it back that way. Yeah, I've got 7 of these. And on the other one that I've already strung up, because again, I don't want you guys to be bored out of your tree, I've got 9 of them strung up. So I'm going to now take a piece of Softlex, and I always cut too much Softlex. I cut too much of everything. It's just kind of the way I roll. So again, I'd rather have too much than too little. So how much is that? That's like 10 inches, but it's probably a bit overkill. But sometimes it's easier for you guys to see if I'm not, trying to struggle with little tiny pieces of things. Okay, so now I've got some crimps here, so I think, what am I going to do first? Maybe I'll string that up. So I've also got these little 4mm balls. I might have gone for something smaller, but that's all we had in the store. It looks like we need to restock our little silver balls section. That every time I say that, I want to break into a ridiculous Christmas song, but I promise I won't sing for you because that might scare you. So on the outside, I'm going to put 3, and then in between, I'm going to put 4 of the little silver balls because I don't want these to be too far apart, but I don't want them right on top of each other. So I sort of, when I was putting together the first part of it, that's what I sort of figured out. My hands are ridiculously sticky right now. I don't know why. Okay, so that seems like a really small piece of stuff now. I bet you it's going to be way too small. Oh, wouldn't that be a drag? You know what? Just in case, I'm going to cut a bigger one because I just looked at that and went, that's going to be way too small by the time I get all those on there. So I'm going to start that again. So has anybody been up to anything fun on there? We see that one lucky person is away on holidays. Barb, you going on holidays at all? My husband's going to go back over to the island September 10th weekend, I think. And he's going to take the pup over there because that's the weekend that I get to see Keith Urban. So I'm not going over. I'm going to go see my honey. I always call Keith Urban my honey because I think he's adorable and I love his music. And I've seen him many, many times in concert. And there's usually a whole pile of us that go. This year it's going to be a little quieter. But actually, I'm taking a girl that I met through the store way back when we first opened. She came on in one day when she was pregnant and started doing some volunteer work at the store and had her baby, and we've remained friends, and she actually lives about 15 houses away from me. So she's my Keith Urban buddy, and we go all the time. Oh, Barb says, nope, she's not going anywhere. Yeah, probably because you spend all your money on beads, right? You don't have any money left now? I always like to tease Barb that she's going to be broke one day from buying all of our beads. She actually sent me an email the other day. I can't say exactly what she said because it did have the F word in it, but she told me to stop having sales because I guess it's depleting her bank account. I was like, oh, sorry, not sorry. Oh, Lord, we just, I got a really good deal on a bunch of fire polish beads, and we just decided that we were going to get rid of them because I got a good deal, and I'm passing that deal on to you guys. So since I put that out, oh my gosh, it's been crazy in here. Okay, got to tip this up so I can see what Olivia's saying here. She's got a long thing. Oh, thank you so much, Olivia. Aw, that is the nicest thing. She just said that I'm a precious and talented soul, and she thanks me so much for my contribution to the creative community. Oh, thank you so much. That is really, really lovely. Touched my heart so much today. I love that. You know, I really do say that this is the best community. Like, oh gosh, I feel so lucky sometimes, you know. I'm so glad that I, you know, changed careers. I thought honestly that I would work in that jail until I was old and gray. Well, I'm old and gray now, but I figured they would, you know, take me out on a stretcher and I'd be kicking and screaming. And oh, trust me, it was hard when I left because, you know, it's silly, but I even miss some of the prisoners. But mostly I miss the people I worked with. But this has just been such a rewarding and just a lovely experience. You know, it hasn't been 100% awesome, but it mostly has been great. And like I said on the last video, and you know, many times I've said that the best part of this is all the people that I get to talk to every day, and that's the best part. Oh, we got lots of people on here today. We've got Kathy, old-time friend from, actually she was one of my closest friends, and she lives down in the States. Thanks, Kathy, for joining us. And Katie's on here, and oh, you guys are awesome. Everybody's coming in and saying hi today. I love it. Okay, hopefully this isn't boring you to tears while I do this part. Okay, so now I've got, this is going to be the top part of the bib. So I'm not sure how I'm going to do this. Oh, hey, Alice. Boy, I got people from all over the country. Alice is from back east. I got everybody on today. Okay, so can you guys see okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in this piece. And you'll see, let's see, does that work on the, is that translating on there? Okay. Olivia says, I'm never boring. Well, you know, I do have kind of a comedic flair, don't I? So if I pick this up and show you, it's going to be backwards, and those are going to be that way. But essentially, that's what we're going to, oh, that's off camera. That's what we're going to end up with. It's going to be, it'll look way nicer once I get it done. So I have to now attach this somehow to a ring. So I picked a bunch of rings, and I just wanted to sort of see, you know, what looked good. I don't know. I always just grab a bunch of things and see what I like. I have this chain to go with it, so I was trying to figure out if I wanted to go something sparkly or something plain. You know what, maybe I'll just go with plain today. What do you think? Just plain? Yeah, let's go with that. Okay, sweaty hands. Goodness gracious. Okay. And I've got some 2x2 crimp tubes. Now, these ones that I have here, that you probably now can't see because I changed the camera angle. Let me go back down here. There we go a little bit. Can you guys see them? They're right where my finger are. So these are 2x2 sterling silver crimp tubes. I prefer the sterling silver ones. They never crush in on themselves. They're really good quality, and in the store you get 30 of them for $8. So yeah, they're a little more money than the cheap $1.99 ones, but you'll have less problems with them. So I always use them. That's my go-to thing. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to stick my crimp on. And I'm going to run the loop of the ring through there. Now I'm going to bring my soft flex back through that loop. And you see when I pull it through, I want to make sure that these loops or the pieces of wire don't do this. I want them to stay parallel to each other, because when we use this crimp tube, they have to stay parallel so that they go into the tube properly. Otherwise they'll cross over and it won't work. So I'm going to cinch that up, and yeah, I do have way too much soft flex, but you know, that's life. So I don't want to have this really, really tight on there. I want to have a little bit of play so that, you know, it'll move, because if it was tight, it would just be way too rigid. So now with the crimp tool, if you've never used one, they come with two little sort of teeth there. And there's one that looks a bit like a, I don't know, like a taco kind of, or, you know, something like that. That's the inside one. And then there's the outside one. So we're going to start with the inside one, the one that looks like the little taco. And you center it right on top and give it a good squish. And then you're going to rotate your piece 90 degrees and then use the outside one and give it another good squish. And then I like to take my pliers and give that one more little squish just for good luck. You know, that's kind of my thing. Now, You might have heard that you should leave a little tail and stick it in your beads. Well, we don't have any place to stick it. And what does that actually do? It doesn't provide any support. It doesn't really do anything except that'll come out and it'll niggle at you. It'll drive you nuts. So if you've crimped properly, you can bring your pliers right down in here, trim that off, and then you have something nice and neat. So I had somebody teach me that years ago, and she said, crimp properly and you'll never have to worry. And I thought, hey, you know, that's a really good thing to know. Now, I brought some crimp covers, but I didn't bring enough of them. So I'm not going to bother because I forgot that I actually have 4 strands and not 2 strands. So, oh, we've got another person, Jean. Hi, Jean. Thanks for joining us today. I think this is the most viewers we've ever had. This is awesome. Okay, so you can see now that I've got my top strand on there. And do you guys want me to show you how you would put on the crimp covers? You know what you can actually do also? I'm not sure if I can do it with these ones, but you can take these balls and come in and make crimp covers with them by squishing them. Let's see if I can do that. No, it won't work on these ones. I think it's sterling and silver. Oh well, we just won't bother today. Okay, so now I have to do the other side. So I'm going to put on my little crimp and I'm going to take my other ring. Now this is where it gets a little trickier, because I want to make sure that I don't tighten this up so much that there isn't enough slack. So when is that going on camera? Can you see okay? So I'm going to pull that up. Now I usually just hold on to my ring and kind of pull it towards until I get that little bit of slack. Now before I crimp it, I pick it up and make sure there's movement in it. If it's all like tight and I can't move it, then that's not what I want, because I need this to have some drape in it. So I'm going to just, you know, do some little fine tuning there. And then I'm going to come in with my little taco side first. Oops, that's going to go kind of crooked, so you have to make sure you're coming in at the right angle. Give it a good squish, turn it 90 degrees, give it another squish, and do that. Okay, and then I'm going to come in and trim that off. And I need another sip of my water. All right, so is that the front or the back? That's the back there. So there we go. There's the top part. So now I've got to add the bottom part to it. Now, like I said, I've never made one of these, so I'm just kind of guessing that this is going to work. So cross your fingers. We'll see what happens. So I have to repeat that. Fumble fingers, dropping things here. Oh, for heaven's sakes, I'm so sticky. I don't know why. I'm not even nervous when I do these things anymore. But I guess I'd still, you know, react bodily. Okay. So I won something last night. I've been on a winning streak lately. I've won a few things. But one of the local businesses here, Maple Ridge Florist, had a little Instagram contest, you know, to name where she had taken some flowers, and I knew right away where she had taken them. I guessed it's a new restaurant. It's literally across the street from the store, and it's called Banchock D. And it is, oh my gosh, the most delicious Thai food you'll ever eat in your whole life. And they have had a restaurant out in Langley that we've gone to for years, and they opened up this sister one here literally across the street. And which thrilled me to no end, because now we don't have to drive all the way out to Langley. And so I won a bouquet of flowers, and I won a meal at Banchock D. So thank you to Maple Ridge Florist and to Banchock D. My husband and I are going to love the dinner, and I will totally enjoy the flowers. So it's always fun to win something, isn't it? All right, now I have to make sure I got this going the right way, because now we've just got this whole big kind of mess there. So, okay, there's that one there. So that's got to come back around here. Yeah, it looks like it's going to work. Oh, look at me. You know, I love to be embarrassed when I'm live, so we'll see what happens. It's got to have something today, right? And no puppy today. She's got some weird wheezing thing going on, and I don't know what it is, but she's been acting kind of funny. So I think we have to take her to the vet. So I decided to leave her home today, poor little pumpkin. Plus she's been a brat. Maybe it's because she's not feeling well, but she's been kind of, you know, looking at me when I ask her to do something, like, you know, simple things like come. And she's basically giving me the finger and saying, no, I don't want to. But I guess, you know, she's almost 6 months old, so it's to be expected. Okay, our last little crimp here. And I'll come in and trim that off, and then let's see what we have. All right, I'm going to turn this up. Oh, sorry for the wiggle there. There we go. And you can see my new short do. Okay. Oh, look at that. Oh, I like that. Okay, so that's what we have so far. How's that? Isn't that cool? I think that would be really... Oh, I've got a microphone there. It's probably banging into it, isn't it, as I'm doing that? Okay, I can't do it on me. But I did bring a little bust, a little mannequin so that you could see. So far so good. Yay! Gosh, you would think that I actually know what I'm doing sometimes, right? Okay, way back down here. I feel like, who was that? The Jolly Green Giant? And way down here. Is that just a Canadian thing? I can't even remember. I think it is, right? Okay, so now I've got some chain, and I'm just gonna, I want to cut it in half because I just kind of grabbed 16 inches. I don't know if that's what I'm going to end up needing, but that's what I took for now. So I have some jump rings, and I'm hoping these jump rings will fit over top of this. I didn't even test it. What did Katie say? I got to look up here. Okay, a few people have commented. I got to go back up here so I can see what people are saying. Oh, you love the do, Barb? Thanks. It's a little funky today, but I like it. Oh, Katie said the same thing. The necklace is looking great. Thanks, girls. Yeah, you know, I had the short hair a couple years ago, and I was worried about going short again with, you know, having gained weight. But, you know, I think I just got to get over that stuff and not worry about it. And it is what it is. But September, I'm back on plan again because I'm not happy. And not being happy is not a good thing. So you will probably get weekly updates of my progress, which will probably be evident when you look at me. But I'm determined that I'm going to get back to my former self, whatever that is. Okay, so remember when you're opening up jump rings, you want to hold your tools on either side of the split there and open up like that. You never want to open up this way, you'll break the neck. And these are pretty small jump rings. I might have gone up a little bit bigger, but I like them because they're really heavy gauge. Okay, and then I just have to add on the right side, because I'm right-handed, I like to wear my lobster clasps on my right side. So I won't put this necklace on because it'll bang into my mic too much. But, and I think it's probably going to be too long, I have a feeling. But for now, we'll just, you know, I can always change that later, but just for now, we'll go with what we've got here. So I'll do it up, and I will put it on the little little bust that I have here so that you can see, because this definitely needs something like that. Oh, wow. I kind of like that. That's fun. And I'll turn the... Oh, now I did use a flat chain. I'll show you all this once I get this all the way I want it, because I don't want this to turn when it's on my neck. So I used a flat chain on purpose. If you use something that rolls too much, I don't think it'll look so good. Okay, let's see. Turn that so you can see. What do you think? I think that turned out really cute. I'll get it in nice and close there. So you can see, I mean, it took a little bit of time. I did have to wrap that, you know, a lot of those last night. But you can easily make your own bib necklace, and you can use different kind of stones. Oh, thanks, Katie. I think it's kind of pretty too. I'm hoping that you guys all really liked this. It was lots of fun to do. It took me way out of my comfort zone because I had no idea what I was doing. I was just kind of playing around. If you didn't want this top, you know, row, you know, so low, you could, you know, you can always alter it by making it a little bit shorter on top. But I kind of wanted them going over top like that. I like it because there's going to be lots of movement when you wear it. Oh, everybody's saying that it looks nice. Thank you so much, everybody. I really appreciate it. Now, I don't really like to match things so much. Like, you hardly will ever see me wearing jewelry that matches because I'm not a matchy person. But you could make a pair of earrings with, you know, like just a silver ball on top of one of these, and you know, if you wanted to match it. But for me, I'd probably just wear a pair of simple silver earrings, or I might wear like a white pearl or something like that. Like maybe a big silver hoop. You know, you can kind of play around with a little bit. So there we go. I really want to put this on, but it'll bash right into the mic. So there we go. There's the project for today. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I hope that you enjoyed learning how to do those pesky brio wraps. Try them. They're not that hard, actually. Once you get going, they're not so bad. So thank you again for joining me this week. I really appreciate it. It's been lots of fun, and thank you. So many people popped on and said hi, and I really like that. It's fun to be interactive with everybody. So until then, I will say goodbye, and I will see you next Wednesday, where I'll have another fun project, and I hope we'll see you then. So enjoy the week and have a lovely weekend. Thanks so much. Bye.